welcome to the Tom and Gerry podcast show.
How is keeping?
6th episode, Ger.
6th one, number 6. Lucky number 6.
We didn't fall out with each other.
Yet.
Do you know what I think has been...
We stuck together for the sake of the podcast.
Sake of the podcast.
Don't fight in front of the podcast.
As soon as the podcast goes off to college, we are through.
Yeah, we're gone.
Do you know what's actually...
I'm getting the house.
What actually really softened... Because, we could have killed each other. I think the last 2 times we've been eating food.
Yes, yes.
Which means once again, totally unprofessionally, Sean, the meats of another variety. It's pulled pork, this one.
It's pulled pork.
With a cider touch to it. Came out nice, didn't it?
It's a big bowl of ham.
This just makes for perfect radio listening, telling people what a thing tastes like.
Yeah.
Now we sound like RT.
It tastes like lovely ham.
Yeah, no, it's good ham. There's nothing a culture likes more than a good ham.
Yeah, this is just it. Pulled pork is lovely ham. Brisket is lovely beef.
Brisket is a good beef, yeah. Honest to God, I thought it was only poverty food up until recently I ate it. And I have to say it was good gear.
It's just nice beef.
But you've actually just led me straight into... I don't know, should we... How's your week been? Any you haven't lost a leg or anything?
No, I'm still here. Still casting a shadow.
Yeah, it's... I may as well plough straight on into it.
We'll get straight into it, shall we?
Into my giving out yards, because as soon as you said brisket... It just led me into something that...
Would you say it led you briskly into...
Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah, it did.
The fucking level we're at here, people.
Wow.
We saved all the good stuff for number 6, so we did.
We did, actually, yeah. That was a really nice one, actually. I'm just trying to think of shitty puns now, to be fair. Meat-based puns.
Episode 6, the puns take over.
Yeah, you know it. But
let's listen on with the segment.
Exactly.
The segment is called...
Giving out yards.
Giving out yards. Go
Contrariness. For it. But what it is you led in with brisket and pulled pork. Sure, I mean, that was a heathen thing once upon a time. Not to have ham sliced. But it came about as a result of a lot of these new restaurants that are opening up around the place and have been, I suppose, the last 2 or 3 years. Look at you there with your hot sauce, like you know what it is. Chipotle. I mean, that's it. Chipotle.
I'm taking a punt on that being the pronunciation of it.
I think it is, but
Look at me here. I got a fork.
6 months I had that stuff. I was buying that stuff in Tesco. 6 months and I was calling it chipotle.
Chipotle.
What sort of an ingred am I?
You know, and I'm just here with my chipotle sauce.
Your crackers and your pulled pork.
I'm pouring it directly onto the ham, right?
I don't know if you're supposed to go that...
I'm just like...
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're supposed to be that, I suppose frivolous with the stuff, like just lashing it on. I think you're supposed to actually just garnish it slightly.
Just garnish it, oh really? No.
But you obviously have an asbestos mouth from the years of breathing.
No, to me it's like, you gotta understand, people, I've got a fork in my hand like it's a toothbrush, right? And I'm pouring with meat on it, and I'm just pouring chipotle over it like it's toothpaste, and I'm gonna brush my face with it now, so I am. That's not the hottest of it.
That's nice gear, but where I'm going, that's the Cajun one. Again, where the fuck are we going with Cajun?
It's brown sauce.
It's brown sauce, essentially, is what it is. But my problem of late is these street food restaurants.
Alright, okay.
There's fucking barbecue joints opening up all over the place, and it's that they're trying so fucking hard. I was in one in town recently, and the food is grand, but you're sitting on fucking pallets. And you know what I mean? You're going, and it was grand. This particular one, I got a little vexed. I went into the Jackson. They had a mirror made out of the top of a 40-gallon drum, steel drum, which is fine. But they purposely went about, because I had to tweet them because it vexed me. They purposely went about doing the shittest welding you have ever seen in your entire life. Now, to anybody who's never seen the top of a 40-gallon drum, or you would have if you've ever watched Breaking Bad or anything, they're already professionally fucking welded. You don't need to cut them off. No. And re-weld them so that the weld looks like cat shit.
Looks like something a crow shit in the family.
Yeah, exactly. I got me fucking vexed, and it got me thinking about the different places then that are total bullshit. Like another one we're in, it was Thai street food.
Right,
That's where the street thing came from. It's a popular street in town. This place, people have been raving about it. Yes. You have to go in there.
Oh, you must.
You had to go in there. Sweet cheese. First off, I was contrary. They'd obviously been to a reclamation yard or a place that had been taken over by Nama. Because they'd fucking scaffold boards.
Right.
For seats.
Right.
Now, I left the buildings, Gerry, a couple of years ago.
We'd gone away from all this.
We'd gone away from all this. Okay, you're going to put me down on a scaffold board and I'm going to eat like I'm a 5-year-old at a football match.
Fair.
Grand job. But do not charge me €16 a fucking dish. And you get these fucking wankers just sitting there with their fucking dreadlocks you know, sitting in a lotus position, because of course they can't sit with their feet on the fucking ground, like, and they're sitting going, oh my god, this is exactly like the stuff we had in Fau Fau. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember that time? Do you remember that time when we went to the full moon party over in Le Fing Fing?
But they've really cleaned it up and they've really robbed it of its essence.
If
it's a fucking mimosa, but it's a samosa, pal. Don't go fucking mad, right?
But this is my thing, like, if it is street food, I can guarantee you the last place you ate that, if it was off a fucking street somewhere, you gave about 45 cents for it.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why it was a fucking street food. Don't be calling this shit street food, putting me on scaffold fucking boards and all bits of fucking milk bottle crates. And then, and here's the fucking thing, they've all taken on this Nando's thing, where they go, come pay me for the shit first.
Yes.
And then we'll see about it afterwards.
We'll give you a number on a little stock.
Go fuck yourselves.
Do you know what it is with this country right now? When you're talking about street food, we seem to have. Okay, I can see the natural evolution of food that you would be served on the street if you're living in London or somewhere like that. And you know, a little kiosk at the side of the street.
Yeah.
Or a guy on a wheeled cart that's selling you stuff. And by natural evolution of it, if that food becomes popular, he would move on and finance himself to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Where he would sell the same food that he was making there alone. We in this country seem to have just kind of leaped over that middle step.
Yeah, and we brought the chippy van indoors, and we're still serving out of the chippy van.
Exactly. It just seems to have been like, you know, here's authentic street food, but it's never been served on the street. We just opened a restaurant, and that's what we call it. Like, you know, if it was
authentic Irish street food, they'd have the sound of a generator ticking over in the background.
The only authentic, I swear to God, you can back me up on this one here now. The only authentic, genuine Irish street food there is like a hot dog and a quarter pounder that you'd buy at a ploughing match.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Or in those little plastic tubs.
Yeah.
With a little timber fork. That's authentic. But I just, it's brilliant that you've gotten onto that.
You never went to a fucking ploughing match and bought
pulled pork. You got jumbo sausages.
First place you ever ate pulled pork was in a restaurant.
You know it.
That was claiming to be street food, but because we never knew it from the street, now it is just
restaurant food. There's a place. You know there's street, I think it's called Chancery Lane. It's there in Dublin city centre. It's behind the forecourts. Everybody would know the forecourts. And it's an extremely hipster lane, this place. There's a few joints along there that would actually give you heartburn looking in the door.
Yeah,
you know,
give you the fear.
Everything's ironic. You know, it's, we've just used car mirrors, in the bathroom. You know, this shit. Yeah. Well, there's one after opening up there.
You can get your drink served in a Coleman's mustard jar.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They've about to open up a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
And great, fine, it's a Mexican restaurant. But this is it only just came to me, this is exactly depicted what we've just talked about. They have, the old Citroen World War II vans?
Yes.
They have that inside in a fucking premises. And they're serving out of that to people sitting on pallets and churns. And they're charging full fucking whack. And the journalist is like, and you know what? It's so simple. It's actually fantastic. It's so simple.
So fresh.
But when she explained the simplicity of it, there's some fucking charlatans. Like, there was 3 ingredients in some of these fucking things. Yeah. She was going, it's so fresh. Fucking fresh. It looks like it wasn't made.
Yeah, you
fucker. You just bought 3 things, slapped it together and put it in a tortilla and charged somebody $12.99 for the fucking thing.
Here's the damnedest crack right with this. Like, it took us as a nation about, from the advent of whatever form of street food it might be.
Yeah.
It took us as a nation about 10 minutes to become fucking experts on it.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Like, I think I had my first burrito when I was 33, and I'm 34 now. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you were never given a burrito when you were a younger guys.
What blew my head off, I was in Leixlip the other day. Burrito bar in Leixlip.
A burrito bar in Leixlip.
What in the name of all fucking divinity would they know about a fucking burrito?
This is milkshake shops all over again, Tom. I give them 18 months and they're all shutting down again.
There you go.
But
milkshake shops. Go for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I'll fucking smush dairy milk into it.
Yeah. Fucking soda stream shops. That's what we should have.
Come here to me. But I'll tell you what it was. All of a sudden, one burrito shop opened in Dublin. And then all of a sudden there was a dozen of them.
Oh yeah.
And we were all falling over each other going, you don't want to go there. You want to go here. This is a da. This is a da. This is a da.
The shite they're wrapping up in a tortilla is much better than the shite they're wrapping up in a tortilla.
Wow, look at that. This crowd over here really can wrap up meat and rice a lot fucking better than that crowd.
Have you ever spoken to a Mexican fella?
No, I have a funny feeling that all the ones working in the...
I swear to God.
working in the burrito shops up here are Spanish at best.
I met a chap there about 3 weeks ago. I was chatting with him. And he was saying he loved Ireland. He was working for a computer industry and all the rest of it.
But the fucking
I said, what do you love about Ireland? He says, number one, you fucking heaps of grass.
Yeah, well,
He says, where I'm from, he says, in Guadalajara. And he says, heaps of grass, and there's not loads of people getting shot. He says, where he's from, in a village outside Guadalajara. Last time he was over home, 20 fellas got shot in the one day. That's alright, that's aside from the food side of things. But that was just a lead-in to his conversation.
Was his opener.
He loved Irish food.
Like box tea.
He loved bacon and cabbage.
Right.
Thought to the fucking bee's knees. He loved fucking box tea. He loved white puddings. Right. Mad for white puddings. Couldn't get enough of white puddings. And what else did he... There's something else fucking right Irish. Stew. Couldn't get enough of it.
Of stew.
Couldn't understand why in the name of all fuck we would be bothered with his scour.
See,
he could not wrap his... He says, do you know why we eat them? He says, yeah, it's traditional, it's nice, it's all the rest of it. But he says, if we had a good cut of fucking meat to be eating, we wouldn't be mincing that shit and throwing it into a fucking yolk so it looks good.
No, you'd be doing it right.
He says, this is amazing that a Mexican fellow was telling me this. He was like, why in the name of fuck? I says, but 'tis different and 'tis tasty. Yeah, it's tasty my hole. He says, 'tis only... He says, that food came about as a result of necessity.
Yes, that's poor people food.
Yeah. Poverty
that's
food.
Pauper food, yeah, that's
because that restaurant I went to, I was telling you about, there was a Thai street food. It may have been street food right down to the fucking actual stuff because it was the gnarliest heap of shite.
Yeah.
Now I eat most fucking things. Tongue, you name it.
Yeah.
Oxtail. Anything. But this shit couldn't be eaten. It was a former chicken, but I'd say it was an old rooster at some stage in its fucking life.
Plastic chimneys.
Yeah, exactly. This fucker was about 45 years of age when they killed him.
He's the only fucking chicken in Ireland to have died of old age.
And here's the killing thing. I brought the shit back up. I said, I'm sorry, because of course waitresses don't come around or waiters don't come around.
Oh, Christ, no.
No. So I walked back up with the stuff. I said, I'm sorry. I said, it's inedible.
Yeah.
And she looked at me like I was something she had just scraped off her shoe because she had made, obviously, a comparison between that and what she actually had one time out in Fifi or Ting Ting. And I was the animal because I couldn't wrap my fucking head around the fact that it was low-grade shit.
Yeah.
Now,
at full price.
That's fine, out in fucking Koh Samui or wherever. Because they're fucking struggling, them poor feckers. Like.
They're doing their best.
They're doing their best. We've got shit tons of fucking stuff here that's good quality, and she's charged me full whack for it. I wouldn't have minded if she only charged me a $5. $16.99 they wanted for a fucking plate of street food sitting on scaffolding fucking boards.
Here, $16.99. That's what it is, Tom. Now it's this supposed poverty food that somehow they're charging you a fucking day's wages.
There you go. I
don't know. I mean, and everybody just got so fucking cool all of a sudden, and everybody can tell you the best place in Dublin to get chicken wings. Do you know what I mean? Chicken wings, my whole pal. Fucking 10 years ago, you'd never tasted sweet chili sauce, so don't be fucking telling me now.
Yeah.
Where to get? I remember the first place I ever got nachos.
Go on.
I'll tell you what it was. It was at the cinema in Dundalk. Yeah. That's
was it that stuff they call cheese, but it's not really fucking cheese?
It was like goop. But what it was, I'll never forget it, right? I went in and all that, I think we were going to see like The Sixth Sense.
Right.
So that'll give you a time frame, right?
Yeah, fucking hell. That's a good 10 years ago.
It's
more.
That anyway, fuck, it's like...
It is more, because
yeah,
I was in college.
I was in college, it was 98, 99, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we went in and all...
Jeez, Dundalk.
Well, Dundalk got a
They wouldn't have had him in Clonmel.
No, this was the new cinema in Dundalk. The old Adelphi had been closed, and this was the new AMC. It's still there, it's still a fairly nice cinema. But it was like nothing we'd ever seen. It was like 7 screens. We were like, fuck, this is amazing, right?
Righto.
And they had popcorn and such like, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try these nachos. What the fuck?
Nachos.
Why the hell not? And she goes, do you want cheese or salsa?
Right.
And now,
fuck that salsa.
Now you'd know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
But at the time, I swear to God, I remember asking it. I had to go,
I know where this is going. Go on.
What's salsa?
Yes. There's a good thing she didn't put out fucking guacamole as well.
Right, she goes, what's salsa, right? And she on the others,
did she know what salsa actually was? Or did it
only,
have salsa written on the bucket?
The place was only open about a week, right? And we were among like the earliest customers. So even she had to kind of go to herself, well...
What is salsa? You're dead right,
she had to go, it's like tomato sauce. It's like tomato sauce, and there's like onions and there's there's like onions and it's spicy as well. It's hot. And I was like, cheese, please. She goes, all right. And then she goes, right, so that was enough. We're battling through this fucking nacho minefield here, right? Okay, and then she comes with this. Would you like jalapenos?
Ah, for fuck's sake.
And I was like, what are they? And she goes, it's like a little pepper. It's a little green pepper. It's hot. And I was like, no, hang on a wee second here now. I just want to fucking wrap my head around this, right? I asked for nachos, which to the best of my knowledge
are flavourless crisps.
They're crisps, right?
Yeah.
I'm reading that, right?
Yeah.
It's crisps, right? And, okay, I'll have a cheese sauce on the side of it to dip it into it. It'll be the first time I ever dipped a crisp into anything.
Yeah.
At this point now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right now, if someone gives you a bag of Doritos, you'll be like, what am I, a fucking pauper here?
Yeah, what kind of fucking animal do you think I am?
What kind of fucking inhuman animal do you think I am? Give me something to dip this into, right? But back then, the notion of dipping crisps into anything was an alien thing, right?
Sandwiches. That was about as close.
That was about it.
That was the only deviation from actually eating it out of the bag was sandwiches.
That was as wet as a crisp got before it went in your mouth.
Yeah.
So, on top of that, you're asking me, do I want spicy tomato and onion sauce and wee green peppers on it?
A fucking vegetable.
And I'm
up on top of your vegetable up on top of your crisps.
And she has the nachos into the tray, right? Because only she hadn't the nachos into the tray. I was gonna go, come here. I'll take I'll take a bag of Maltesers instead. You know what I mean? I'm getting in way over my head here with this, but in the end, I just said yeah, and that's within our lifetime.
Yeah. And how fast we forget that.
That's
was it.
Within living memory.
Yeah, that's it.
That's within the age of the DVD.
Yeah.
That I was baffled asking someone, what's salsa?
And people,
now all of a
people
sudden,
will hear this and start laughing, but I guarantee you,
what's going on here?
There was no fucker pre-99, pre-98 knew what the fuck salsa was. There was no fucking way. Because there was no
fucking
eating it.
jalapeno.
No. We didn't. Sun-dried.
We're wrapping our head around
getting sun-dried fucking
pepperoni.
tomatoes. Like, when you see a sun-dried tomato, imagine going into Essentia. Like, 2001 even. Going into Essentia.
Think how quick that line must have moved.
Yeah. Can you imagine it?
Ham and lettuce and tomato. Done.
Tomato, even.
Gone.
Jesus, ham,
Push
lettuce, and maybe a slice of fucking cheese.
Yeah.
That was it. But can you imagine asking for sun-dried tomatoes back then? Forget about it. Can I get some of those gherkins as well?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Do you know we've got sweet corn if that's any addition to you? But like literally, Tom, like within the space of time that I was there, fucking struggling to know what a jalapeno was for me crips to go in and go see the fucking Sixth Sense. And now you're listening to people going like, what do you mean you don't have cremosa sauce?
I know.
What sort of a burrito place is this? Pull yourself out of your hole, pal, and fuck off. Would you ever do that?
It is. It's a funny. That's Jesus. Yeah, we've got tons on it. There has to be plenty on that one because here we are eating fucking pulled ham.
This is
bust open ham. I will add though, I am dipping it into Coleman's mustard. I haven't gotten ahead of myself. You're there over there with the chipotle sauce, albeit it is in my house, but.
Well, I did once eat nachos in 1998.
Yeah, right. I definitely.
I'm
just trying to think. There's no fucking way. There's no way I did. But yeah, I suppose that how are we doing for a rant? I suppose we got kind of vexed there. All right, we could go down any amount of tangents here, like because you're getting Jesus Christ. There's so many fucking food ones. But the vexing thing is, people need to fucking catch themselves on, like
yeah,
because you can fucking sing it all day long, but when you start seeing this shit and they start adding words like chia and stuff like that, you're like, what? I was in Lidl the other day, and for some reason I found myself drawn to a bread called chia. What? I didn't know bread was called anything but brown or white.
Yeah.
No, it's called chia.
Oh, look, come here to me. And that's all this is before you start into gluten-free.
Oh, don't get me started. I wouldn't even know where to fucking start with gluten-free. I don't know.
I used to sit down sometimes for at work.
How did they get the gluten out of it? It's like, how did they get the coffee out, or the coffee out of coffee? I mean, did they have to wash the shit out of the tea bags to make them decaffeinated?
Look, whatever caffeine they take out of coffee, put it in mine. Give me the double.
Grant, yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I remember like sitting down with workmates for lunch. And they'd be all eating gluten-free this and fucking tofu salads and all that.
But you worked in hardware. How the fuck did you come across?
I've worked in other places in hardware, Tom.
Have you? Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
And they'd be sitting down eating fucking gluten-free this and all this kind of shit. And I'd be sort of thinking to myself, now lads, you know there's a spar there, do you a fucking chicken fillet roll for $3.95 with a free can of Coke? Like, don't overthink this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your lunch sitting there for you.
It's tricky.
You're trying to 2 salads.
Like, these fellas must have nothing on in the evening when they go shopping. They must have... Now, I can appreciate anybody bringing the sandwiches to work. You'll always make a superior sandwich if, you know... Well, if you can go for it, if you have the time. But you have to set aside time. You do have to set aside time. And then to go down the aisle looking for the gluten-free shit. I mean, that's strict guidelines.
Don't overthink it.
I'm handy. I'll make my own sandwiches going to work or whatever, or going to anywhere. I'm no bother on that. Even long journeys, I found myself making my sandwiches.
Yeah.
But I swear to God, it's as simple as it was when I was about 12. It's still ham and cheese.
It's ham and cheese.
It's ham and fucking cheese.
Yeah.
I have stopped with the butter, because I think butter is either... And I won't use that spread well shit, because there's no point. It doesn't taste of anything. Maybe some of them do. But I think butter is getting harder. I'm ripping bread. Or even that bread's getting softer or something. Because bread is just fucking...
Maybe just our fucking coordination is gone.
You know it. That's it.
You know?
My eyesight thinks I'm like an inch further back than I actually am.
Yeah, the depth perception's fuckked.
Yeah. You're probably spot on there, actually.
This is what it is. Like, you go to butter a slice of bread and you just start gouging into the worktop.
That's my hope of being in the Air Force is gone, so is that what you're telling me? I can't do it. What was it? Henry Pfaffenbach. Henry Pfaffenbach. Remember little hot shots joke there. Yeah. We'll have to have movie nights and everything. Just well, you be the man for movies. I mean, there's one I don't think you don't know or haven't seen at some stage. Are you looking forward to? You looking forward to the movies of the summer?
No.
No.
I'll catch them on DVD.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Because I'm a pain on the hole.
Yeah, fucking right. So,
who wants to leave the house?
I know, you're right. You're not wrong there. If you can sit at home with a couple of beers. We'll definitely have to leave the house and do a podcast from a bar there.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, there's
if we can find a bar that would hold us.
Yeah, I know. The
Ain't
animals.
no grave, Tom.
No, there's plenty of bars around I can think of, or they'd be perfectly fine. Degenerates like us could just hide in the corner with a podcast machine. It'd be absolutely fine.
Yeah, this is what it is.
I think we'll wrap up on the cribbing about food because, I think it's more our ignorance, really.
Oh, well, I'm clearly not refined enough to know the difference in one chicken wing and another.
Yeah.
One thing I'll ask you before going in front of
Yeah.
you'd be a man that would be more inclined to eat a rabbit leg than a chicken wing.
Yeah.
But when it comes to chicken wings, do you prefer the one that looks like a wee drumstick or the one that's 2 bones?
2 bones.
Yeah, 2 bones.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Do you know I once had a house party and I went and bought 10 kilos of chicken wings. And that was the first time that question has ever come up. This isn't the first time I've been asked that question, which I prefer, 1 joint or 2 joint. And that's the way the guy put it to me. He goes, do you want a 1 joint or 2 joint? I says, will it be more expensive? He goes, believe it or not, it's actually a little cheaper. I said, Jesus Christ, you don't need to fucking ask me a second time. It was because the butcher didn't have to take that second swipe and cut off that bit. I said, well, what happens to that bit? Oh, that bit gets ground down. I said, I'm guessing it doesn't go as fertilizer. He goes, no, that's all you need to know. So the guy sold me 10 kilos of chicken wings with the extra little fucking forearm on it, their little forewing on it. But I think they're a handy handle, and when they're getting nice and crunchy, because I deep fried them, when they get nice and crunchy, you can always bite off that skin. I mean, it's absolutely vicious what you're fucking doing, like, when you think about it, you know.
Yeah. I wouldn't know about that, Tom. I wasn't invited to that party.
Oh, you're not? Fucking hell. You probably were, you miserable bollocks.
I probably was, but I still think it genuine.
Yeah. You wouldn't have liked it as when I lived in hipsterland anyway, so.
Yeah.
But,
right, so will we wrap up that one?
Yeah, I think we'll wrap up. Yeah, we'll wrap up.
Yards.
Yeah. Giving out yards.
It's been good.
It has been good. That fucking ham is good, in fairness. It turned out alright. For the recipe, look, it's as simple as this. Boil it for a while, then roast it for a while, and during that roasting process, pour some cider over it. That's it.
Everybody's at home right now listening to this going, man, these guys really fucking love that ham.
I just swear it. But the problem is, we put out so much of it that we were after eating at least 2 people's amount of fucking ham there. Like, it's just because it's broken up in pieces. Like,
yeah, and I didn't even imagine. Suppose I'm literally just eating raw, like
straight into meat.
Not raw ham, but just
ham.
Just ham.
Yeah. When was the last time you sat down and just ate meat?
I don't know. It could happen more often. Do you know what I mean?
You'd be all right with it though.
I'd be certainly all right.
I suppose it's probably, if you cooked it with the skin on, there's probably, or maybe leave a hoof in there for fibre.
Yeah, you get all the roughage you want.
All the roughage you need. Leave the teeth in there. Be all right with it.
Now we'll push on.
Yeah, we'll push on before people have to get off their bus and whatever, listen to this thing going, who the fuck are these two fellas?
I'll listen to the rest of this tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, press pause and where was I when I listened to them fuckers?
Yeah, we're going to push on to the next segment. Everybody loves this segment, Tom,
Yeah,
because
this is the one.
as we've said for the past 5 podcasts, and indeed
I've even put it to the test just this weekend, gone at least 3 times in conversation with different people, because I was just over the weekend, I was talking to a lot of different people. That was the one concurrent.
Oh, yeah.
Even gigging with a couple of bigger name comedians 2 weeks ago.
they all just want to know the same thing.
But they just wanted to swap stories. We hung around for a little bit afterwards, and that's all they wanted to talk about was the horrific ones.
Yeah,
the horrific ones.
As stand-up comedians, as myself and Tom purport to be.
Yeah,
they're not always the Olympia.
They're not always Vicar Street.
They're not always. They've yet to be Vicar Street.
They've yet to be Vicar Street. Yeah.
Every now and then things will go slightly awry, and that's the ones everybody wants to know about. Nobody wants to say, "Hey, tell me
is
about
it the
that."
Irish in us, or do you reckon everybody's like that?
I think it's just. I think people just. Honestly, I think people want to reaffirm their own beliefs that public speaking is terrifying.
Yeah. You've nailed it on the head, I think, there.
You know, and they're like, God, does it ever go horribly wrong? Because I think it'll go horribly wrong if I did it.
Absolutely, because, well, I found myself going, no, absolutely, they go great. And then they go, really? No, all right, well. And this is, we always, this is always a bit where there's always one to talk about. And we both have plenty, because we've been comedians of the road, and saying that we've seen
comedians of the Night's Watch.
We guard the realms of poor sorry bastards paying to come into comedy clubs. But we
boil it all down into a segment that we call My Worst Gig Ever. I'll feel this one.
Yeah, you go for this one.
Well, Tom,
you have juicy ones. I like your ones.
I got so many, but I think I have to talk about a place right now. I think I gotta go to that special place.
Right, yeah.
We gotta go there.
We don't even have the kettle on.
We don't even have the kettle on for this. This is a place which no longer runs gigs.
Right.
But
did you shut this one down?
Well, more or less, yes, I did. I have this habit. I've said
you're
it.
Like the fucking fire officer.
I swear to God, I if you book McBride for a gig, he will absolutely play it. But I tend to, in the life cycle of a comedy club, they'll have their first night out.
Yeah.
Where they'll have someone off the telly.
Yeah.
You know. They'll have their second night out where they'll have a slightly more famous comedian, and as the audiences dwindle, they'll start rapping on, say, perhaps sliding down the pay scale. They'll eventually ring me, and then after that the pay just kind of can't go.
Or as what we found for both of us, you'll get a phone call from somebody who just couldn't do the gig.
Right, and then you'll be
the fucking gooks, because they know exactly what that gig was fucking entitled.
Exactly.
And they'll catch you right at that time where you're in the middle of shopping for some fucking thing and you don't have a diary on you and you're going, you know what, I'll do it.
Yeah, I think I'm alright.
You put no thought into why they didn't do the gig.
Why it happened to you. I mean, like, it lands to me, and I've played the last nights of a lot of places because, you know, I'm a little bit further down the to get list. So,
well, do you know what? I'm going to say that maybe you just... Well, no, we could just say that you stole all the thunder out of the room, and there was never any use after that.
No, we'll tell the truth, Tom.
Yeah,
I've said it before many times. I've closed more clubs than Elliot Ness, I swear to God. But, so yeah, I did actually play at the last night of this place, and the first night of this place. And
really?
Several nights in between, and for fact, when I was a young upstart comedian, it was one of the only places that I would actually get a gig. And it was a place called The Tap.
The Tap. I never did The Tap.
You never played The Tap?
You had shut it down on me.
I had fucking ground that thing to the halt.
They had a picture of you on the front door saying, "Do not enter."
With, do not book this, man.
No.
The Tap, for anybody that doesn't know it, is a pub in Dublin. And if you're listening to this now and you're saying to yourself, well, I know a pub called The Tap, but that couldn't be the pub they're talking about, though. Because the place I know is as rough as fuck. There's no way that... No, he's talking about a place that a comedy night ran, and this place is like, no, fuck no. Yeah, that's the place.
That's the place.
That's the one. Yeah. There is not a second one.
Wow.
That is the place. The Tap is...
Where roughly, where is it?
The Tap is on North King Street, which is where Dorset Street ends.
Yeah.
It sort of bleeds into it there.
See, do you know how you were living in Dublin so long? You would call it Dorset Street.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I've always called it Dorset.
Oh, have you?
Oh yeah.
because I got corrected by people for being after turning Dublin, even though I always call it. I would have read that word and said Dorset, but loads of people call it Dorset.
Dorset Street, right? Well, let me ask you a question, Tom. Does a dolphin have a dorsal fin?
Or is it a dolphin?
Yeah, you know, a dorsal fin. No, he's a dorsal fin.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
That's
so
what I would. Yeah.
So
that's what I would have gone
anyone
with.
that wants to say Dorset Street, you're free to say that.
So how far back was? When did the tap start? When was your
Tap
first
started.
gig?
I was gigging about 6 to 8 months.
Right.
Maybe not even that long. And plus,
Was it a comedian running it?
It was indeed. There was a couple of comedians running it, and I was green as fuck.
Right.
Okay, so you just thought all comedy clubs were equal.
Which they are certainly are not.
Which they certainly are not. So if it was a gig that was running, this was like... It was... Playing at this place was the same as playing at the International, playing at the Left Lounge. You know, it was just like... It was a gig in Dublin. The fucking stars were...
Was there a separate like venue in the tap, or was it in the tap?
There were several degrees of tap. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story before I even go. Before I go there, I didn't know where it was because I was living in Monaghan at the time.
Okay.
And I landed up, and I remember ringing the guy that ran it, and I said, "Look, where do I get to this place?" And he goes, "Well, you know, where do you know in Dublin?" And I was like, "I don't fucking know anywhere. I literally know nowhere."
Yeah.
You know, I know where the old big Virgin Megastore used to be. In the Keys. That's it. I fucking know nothing. I know zip.
Yeah.
And he says, "Well, what gigs do you normally play?" And I said, "I played in the Halfpenny Inn." And he goes, "Okay, well, if you can imagine starting at the Halfpenny Inn,
yeah,
and walking up the quays, past the forecourts, so that's a fair peg now, right? If you were to walk past the forecourts and turn right,
yeah,
that would take you up to where
the tap is.
Right. Okay. So I drove from Monaghan, parked my car in the car park behind Cineworld, walked down O'Connell Street, all the way up the quays.
Oh no! All right, okay,
and all the way up to the tap, which I've now learned is about 100 yards away.
Yeah. Cineworld on Dawson Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's throw a stone and hit it. But I did this big, huge circuitous route. Like that just goes to show how fucking green I was.
Wow.
And I landed in this place, and I didn't know that it was rough. I didn't know what was rough and what wasn't rough. And
of course, you weren't looking into it because you were delighted with the gig.
You were just delighted to have a gig, and I landed up to this gig in the tap. And I will say, the first night was pretty good.
Right.
First night was alright.
But explain to me the room now. Was there...
The room.
Was
basically,
there a venue?
Upstairs there was a bar and a lounge.
Right.
And downstairs there was a function room.
Okay.
Are you with me so far?
So typically if we went into for a pint now, would we have to go upstairs for a pint?
Well, when I say upstairs, I mean on street level.
Okay, right. Sorry. You're right.
Okay, and then the basement, shall we say, was the function room.
Right.
Where you could do whatever the fuck you wanted, and they chose to do comedy.
Right.
So, when the gig was down there, that was alright, because it was a separate room. You had to make a driven effort to go to it.
Yeah.
But through time, for whatever fucking reason I never understand, they decided to run it upstairs.
In the bar.
In the lounge.
Right.
Alright? Now, when it was downstairs, it was doing nobody any harm. And nobody that didn't want to go to it went to it. See what I'm saying? Like, you know?
This is a thing to anybody who's listening who has never been to a comedy club or knows nothing about comedy clubs is the last thing Johnny on a Wednesday night having his quiet couple of pints wants
is you landing in.
Some bollock standing up in the corner of the pub.
Yelling obscenities.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, oh Christ. I mean, even when I go for a pint on a Friday night and some who are shacks up with a keyboard.
Your keyboard hatred.
It's well versed.
One cut to the keyboard.
Yeah, that's like all. Like I swear to God, that just. And so the thoughts of me going out for a pint, and some lad showing up to do comedy that I did not pay for. So a separate room in a pub is always beautiful.
It's essential. It's so essential if it's gonna.
If you want to see comedy, you go see comedy. You don't want to see it, it's not going to be thrust upon you. So the powers that be decided that the tap would move from downstairs to upstairs.
And there's nothing going on downstairs.
No, but apparently it was just too much effort to run one fucking light bulb. And when it moved upstairs, that was when shit got interesting.
Right, okay.
I'm not saying this was one gig that was terrible. I'm saying this was a succession of gigs. And here's the thing. They weren't terrible. I always tended to do reasonably okay at them.
Right.
But if you ask me would I do another one, I'd be like, fuck no.
Really?
Because in hindsight, how I managed to never have the car rubbed outside the front of it or get the shit kicked out of me Because I knew no better at the time. This is how fucking green I was. I just thought this was an audience of comedy loving people that were there to see the jokes. But no, these were like fucking... Like...
Yeah, you
in hindsight, potentially dangerous people that you could have just maybe said the wrong thing to them and gotten fucking glassed in the face.
And you're after bringing up an idea in my head, and when we talk on another day, if we do more again, there's a pub just only up the road that you'll love the shitty story of. But anyway,
seriously,
yeah.
And like there were incidents when people.
How rough was it? Like, were people getting ticked? Like,
how rough was it? The guy that ran it was a guy called Eric Shantz. He's an American guy. He calls over every now and then just to say,
Shantz, yeah, I know him. Yeah. He's in LA.
Yeah, he had a fucking pint glass fucked at him one night.
While on stage. Fuck the pint glass at him. Yeah.
Like
it's a concert.
Like Blues Brothers style. I remember one time I was telling a joke. I was rocking away telling jokes, and when I think about it now, this was like in my early days of comedy.
Yeah.
Where I was like to all my pals, I was like, "You got to come see me," all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And through the goodness of their heart, they did.
Yeah.
And when I think of where I asked these people to come,
sweet suffering,
and it just always gives me pause to say, God, I had some real pals back then.
Yeah.
That really fucking...
They followed you into hell.
They followed me into the Somme, I remember I was telling jokes one night, and I thought I was doing awful well, and a couple of the crowds weren't really listening, but there was one lady, and she was really like laughing her ass off, and she was like... She was shy enough, you know what I mean? She was made, like, she had some tattoos that she'd done herself, like, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But she's just having a laugh, She's had a few drinks all day, maybe, but you know what? She's listening to me, she's having a laugh.
What a sweetheart.
And then I realised, because I'd stopped talking, but she'd kept laughing.
Oh.
And then I realised that she hadn't been laughing, she was just, like, roaring out crying. You know that kind of laughy cry where it's like...
Not a lot of people were barred, I'm guessing, from this pub.
No, God,
okay.
No. Come on. And what she was crying at, fuck knows. But do you ever see junkies just crying on the street?
Man, I had
just
one.
Roaring at
I
something.
had one in Edinburgh. My opening gig in Edinburgh. I was telling you about this, where the woman started crying at 3:00 in the day gig. This woman started crying in the middle of my first ever show in Edinburgh. She starts crying from the middle of the audience. This paltry audience that it was now. She starts bawling, crying. I tried to play along with it. I'm relatively green. After 2 more crying sessions and screaming, which I thought was laughing the first couple of times as well.
Yeah, you think it was,
She had the teardrop tattoo on the cheek, the whole shooting gallery. Turns out she had been out since early that day.
Yes.
Mourning the anniversary of her father being murdered in the city.
Perhaps my lady has a similar situation. She's self-medicating with alcohol. And, I'm not sneering at these people or anything like that. They were out. It was their pub and we were guests in it.
You had no fucking business, really.
I really know. In hindsight, this is why it comes to me that I would never do it again, because in hindsight I had no fucking business in that place.
It's kind of like that moment when you're walking up the street or you're waiting for a buddy on the street, mind your own business, and then there's some bollocks, he starts the whole Christians preaching thing, he starts shouting through a bullhorn at you, and it's like, Jesus man, I'm on a street here just minding my own business, I don't need this.
I don't need this.
I suppose the luxury of a street is that it's not your street. So you can't, and you can fuck off around the corner. But
this pub struck me as a place where people could go and be angry and be drunk.
There's a place in Game of Thrones, if you read the book, called the House of the Black and White. Okay. Where people go to die and get put out of their misery if they're on their last fucking legs. And that sounds a bit like it.
It could be that.
No spoilers for anybody if they haven't, but it's where the young one ends up.
And do you know, a lot of these people...
Was it the House of the Black and White? Did people go to drink the Kool-Aid?
No, I fucking left it fairly black and white at times. There was a couple of times where people just were in, and they're ordinary decent. Ordinary decent Northside Dubliners. I'm not saying they're all junkies and this, that and the other,
Yeah, but just salt of the earth kind of folks.
Salt of the earth, dyed in the wool kind of people. And they were just in for their pint or whatever. Yeah. So when you interrupted this with your comedy crack... Yeah. And you tried to ask them to keep the noise at their table down, that's when they got angry.
Yeah, I can kind of see this brewing, alright. Yeah,
that's when they got, legitimately, and it wasn't anything.
See, this is a different kind of a bad gig, because this is...
Oh, this is a gig that you could actually get your face slashed at.
Well, that's it, but what I'm saying is, in any other shitty gigs we've talked about, in fairness, we were kind of in the right being where we were, and they were definitely in the wrong. Right.
Whereas
because it was a comedy.
We were just in the
gig.
wrong fucking place at the wrong time. This is the fucking Helmand province, and we are British soldiers. We have no place here.
Hello, Gerry.
I'm gonna take a crack at the Afghans. I remember one time I tried to banter with this fella, and he was just sitting there having a talk with there was a man and a woman that was there.
Yeah.
You know, rugged looking, hard to age.
Right, yeah,
Could be late 30s, could be early 60s. Who the fuck knows? And this
just depends on how hard they've been hitting it, basically.
This guy bounces in, okay, and there's no dress code in this place. If you wanted to wear a runners and a Celtic top,
go right ahead.
this is the place to do it. He lands in and he's just having a crack with them, hasn't seen them in a while, and I'm doing my thing. And I try to just kind of, not shush them around like that, but just kind of, hey guys, what's going on over here? La 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 la. Would you like to keep down? And he's like, what do you fucking say to me? And I'm like, oh, but I'm like,
that's
this
a
guy
fucking
here.
line.
How about this guy?
That's a holy fuck line.
Yeah.
Not a shut up to fuck, not anything else, but for somebody to go, what did you fucking say
what's
to
your
me?
fucking problem, right? And I try and dilute it down. A little, and go, hey, just having a comment, and it was one of these ones where like he was like, no, what did you fucking say? Like,
now you've thought about how far away have you parked the car.
and now I'm thinking, and I'm fucking real green at this stage still, like only new to comedy, not in it a year.
Yeah,
so I'm like, ooh, this is one of these tough gigs that I've heard about. You know what I mean?
The fabled tough
No,
ones.
wrong. This is a situation where you could get fucking stabbed with a knitting needle in the next 5 minutes.
This is the ones you read about on Chartle, like where shit has gone wrong somewhere in Manchester because the guy is just actually...
And the fucking... What I honestly can't recognise the person that did these gigs.
Yeah.
Like, I can't recognise myself anymore, because when I look back at it, I went back to that place on a near weekly basis.
Really?
And anytime, like, you know, I rang up looking for a gig, I got one. And when I got one and I got home the next day, I rang up looking for another one. I just wanted to go back, keep going back up to it and doing gigs.
You see, this will tell people, it gives people a good insight.
Of the Stockholm Syndrome.
But just becoming a fucking comedian, like the hellish fucking things you will go through, like, you know. And that's why so many people jack it in, because they actually have sense.
They actually have sense, and this just goes to show how little sense I had. Now, I will say this. I will say, I learned an awful lot at it.
Yeah, I bet you fucking
without
did.
a fucking shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And number two, like that was when I was writing loads of material, and anytime I'd go to it, I'd always like have new stuff and things like you know, I'd always be like putting out new material because it was as close to a weekly gig as I've ever had.
Yeah.
Still to this day, as close to a regular gig that I could go to at any time and get time. Do you know?
And how long did the tap last?
The tap lasted for 1 year.
Right.
Exactly 1 year. And I remember that because the anniversary 1 year birthday show of it was when shit just went fucking mental.
Really?
When shit just went through the roof. So like this is not my...
I'm guessing the patrons weren't celebrating also.
Well, this is not my worst gig ever. This is possibly the worst night of comedy ever. Everybody was on because it was the one night show, and it was one of these things where everybody gets 7 minutes, you know?
Right, yeah.
And it was downstairs, but somehow the fucking the door had been left open.
So the fucking hoo-has from upstairs. And I'm guessing it wasn't a paid-in gig, was it?
No, fuck no.
Okay,
So what you have is a mix of like 20 comedians.
Yeah.
Their assorted pals who had come to witness the car crash, which like because we'd been talking it up, like at this stage we were like, you know, we were in a fight club, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just thought it was really, really cool, like, you know, we're doing this gig and it's so. I remember.
But you were all, you're all in it together at least, and it's kind of makes it,
It was one of the only times I ever used the phrase mental gig. Because I've grown to hate that phrase.
Oh yeah, it was always mental gig.
Oh, it was a mental gig. No, do you know what that was? That was a shit gig.
Yeah, shit gig.
That was a shit gig.
Yeah,
but at the time, you were saying it was mental because you didn't want to admit it was shit.
Or like the lads, the same fellow say, I blew the roof off.
Yeah, no, you fucking...
No, you didn't.
No, roof's still there.
No, yeah.
Roof's fucking stronger than it ever
absolutely, trust me, it is still bolted to the wall plate.
Yeah. But absolutely. I'd be there, like, you know, the faults in this place, I was kind of hyping them as merits. I was like, oh, you know, it's the fucking maddest place. Like, a guy got a pint glass fucked at him one night. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
these are not positives.
You still had notions of Blues Brothers in your head. Like, you know, you're thinking of, like, you know...
You're just going to strike up Rawhide and it's going to be the...
This is going to be fine. Everybody's seen Roadhouse. Yeah. You know what I mean?
We're going to calm this place down. We're going to...
Yeah.
So, the anniversary night, It was 20 comedians, all the assorted pals that were brought down to see this
annihilation,
fucking comedy 9/11. Assorted members of the press who came to cover it.
What?
No, fuck no.
What the fuck? You said that without even fucking blinking, McBride.
Fuck no, there was a load of junkies
good
and
liar.
drugs from fucking North King Street's
You
finest.
look me right in the fucking face there, Owen, and assorted members of the press. Wow.
No, fuck
You
no.
are you're a good liar.
And it went down. The MC gave up. The MC gave up after about 10 minutes. He just said, because he was talking to himself, and everybody was roaring the place down. It literally was the Wild West.
How many patrons outside of
from upstairs was about 10.
Okay.
But Tom, that was plenty.
That was
that was enough to disrupt. You know, it's like super concentrated Ribena. They only needed a wee drop to get into the system.
I know what you're saying.
MC gave up after about 7 to 10 minutes. He was just like, you know, I'm fucking talking to myself. Do whatever you want. Drop the mic, and the acts just kind of tagged themselves on and off.
Okay.
I remember one act just got tick with everybody, and he thought, well, I'm gonna get everybody's attention here. So instead of doing his gig on the stage, he did it walking across the tables, just like walking with the mic in his hand, walking from table to table.
Had he gigged here before?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah, because he knew what this crowd needed, and I will say he got like the laughs of the night because everybody was like, "What the fuck? This is the madness we've talked about."
Yeah.
Everybody else just kind of. I went up and did my gig with an unexpected sidekick.
Okay.
Just some lad just got up and stood beside me.
Right.
The whole time. Just some junky guy just wandered up onto the stage. Typical Adam and Paul looking cunt.
Yeah.
And just kind of fucking stood beside me on the stage.
Hey, Gerry.
And I'm here doing my bits. Just kind of glancing every now and then to the right, and there's just cunt fucking standing there.
Did he make any reason as to why he was on the stage?
No, and I didn't ask.
I suppose there was no point really, was
No.
there?
And then the whole thing just devolved into like a fucking horrible, sweaty...
Jesus, just a ball of macaroni and cheese.
I don't know if it went into a second half or if it wrapped up. I forget now. But just basically, it was everybody yelling over.
You don't want to be the last guy on that one.
No,
Jesus.
And like even if you had the mic in your hand, you were not the loudest man in that room.
You're as well. Like you'd imagine, you'd be fairly drunk by the time you get on stage. You'd have to be like.
No, I was driving back to Mahony every single time. I did every single one of these gigs stone cold sober, and I just like. At the time I was, and still to this day, I wouldn't be doing comedy if it wasn't for the gigs I got in this place.
Okay.
And I wouldn't be, like, I met so many great people. I met Gerry Lynch there doing his first gigs. And
right.
You know, great guy altogether. And that's when I really stuck up with, like, Greg Marks and all these guys. They're still kind of as pals to this day. I had a few lads that I fucking hate.
To be fair, I mean, when you do...
a few breaks too.
But a situation like that, it's like your fucking Vietnam, really, isn't it? Like, you know, you still have that, like, no matter what you fucking talk about, you go, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That hellish...
That kind of thing that, like, you know, any soldier that made it out of Vietnam would say, well, I made it out.
Yeah.
You know, and it made
I lost a little part of me.
It made me the person I am today. It knocked the edges off me. I went with a boy and came to a man. And then you turn around and go, oh, great, do you want to go back to Vietnam? You go, fuck no!
Fuck no!
So, not a bad gig, but my worst gig ever.
Wow, Jesus.
There you go.
Fucking hell, worst gig ever.
We could get like a fucking reunion gig going on in it.
No, fuck no, by the sounds of things. I've done a couple like that, and there's a few, with a region around that part of the city, there was a few hairy gigs came out of there.
Yeah.
We'll save
We'll save
them for another time.
It's not like we're running short of shit gigs, though.
Jesus Christ, no. No, but it's the most bizarre. Like, even, that was good that you kind of went into one that wasn't the shittiest gig ever, but it was your worst, you know.
Well, you know what, I it's not as shitty as gigs that I've done in other places, but I would never go back to it. And when I think of having done it,
yeah,
I'm like, what were you thinking?
But you weren't thinking. That's the problem. You were just agreeing to go along with the fucking show. Like,
I just had comedy on my mind.
Yeah,
I just wanted to tell jokes.
Jesus.
Oh man, take me away, Tom.
All right, I suppose we'll head back into. I mean, there's no surprise in that. Listening to us, and if you've listened to us over the last couple of weeks, so you'll know that there's always the last segment that comes, and it kind of just points out the fact that we are extremely cultured.
We are two cultured individuals. We're just sitting here eating ham.
Yeah, ham. We just spent the last What? How long are we? What, like 40 minutes into this, just eating ham?
Just eating ham. And I'll tell you what's better again. We were eating ham 20 minutes before we started.
And we're probably... There's enough ham out there. We could stay sitting eating ham.
We're not done with ham.
To get a couple of fucking bottles of cider, get this going, like. But we'd like to point out bits. I mean, we do stand out. I mean, and that was almost like you as a culture, which I suppose you were just travelling from Monaghan, happy to get a fucking gig.
I was delighted.
But there was an excuse for that. I mean, it was the innocence of you.
Yeah.
It's the lads like some of the boys you mentioned. You're kind of going, fuck lads, you're living here.
You're living here.
He knew what the fuck this was. What?
You're running this fucking
Yeah,
thing.
what the fuck?
You've been running this for a year.
What are you doing to yourself? But we always finish up with a bit about cultures, and this one we like to call Cultures Day Out.
Cultures Day Out.
And we suppose we've done lots, and finding ourselves in different places, and your culture, your real country comes out of you from time to time. And you talked about New York, we both talked about America, and I've been there a few times.
Yes.
I know, I'm not blowhole, no biggie. But there was... After the J1, there was kind of friends made and things like that, and there was buddies went out there, and I went out and visited Buzzy. And this one particular year, was a couple of years after the J1, I was working in the buildings, and a guy who became a good mate of mine, who was as culchy a man you ever fucking met. He was from just outside Ballincollig in Cork.
Right.
But he sounded like he was after coming off some island west of Kerry.
Fucking like Skellig Michael.
Yeah, Skellig fucking, how's your barnacles? Like, this was just, everything was, oh my Jesus Christ, everything was, but he was so brilliantly dramatic, like, you know what I mean? Even if he lit a cigarette, it'd be a fantastic cigarette.
Yeah, every person.
You know, it was fucking, everything was,
Jesus,
you couldn't help but like the guy, though.
Yeah, you're
probably doing him no justice here, but gee, he was a hell of a nice Gerry. He was, another Gerry. A hell of a nice fella. And I had no holidays booked, but this is back in the buildings where you just had to take that 2 weeks off. There was no choice. There was a set 2 weeks in the middle of the summer. The most expensive time to go fucking anywhere.
This is it. Why, fucking go in October?
Yeah, Jesus. But this was the thing. We had to fucking take our holidays, and everybody else was going on holidays. And I had nothing fucking planned. The lads all had misses and stuff. I was a single lad at the time, and Gerry had moved to America.
Right.
Well, I was making the all right money in the buildings. I said, I'm getting a flight out to see you, Gerry. Coming out there for a week, Gerry. He's like, lovely! He was out in Boston, of course. I was in a different part of the city than when I remember. When we got out there, it was mighty! We're out there anyway, myself and Gerry, and what was fucking fantastic. This is where a culture turned man who... There's nothing worse than a culture who knows a bit.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You become a fucking amazing expert on fucking all things, because you know lads that know nothing.
You don't have, if you know a bit, if you're coaching a bit, and I've been this soldier, it's not good enough to just say the bit you know.
No, oh God, no.
You have to add in your assumptions
on
all the other shit that you know. And if you fucking nail it with the bit you do know, everybody will buy the rest of the stuff that you're winning.
They'll get on your Kool-Aid straight away, because I got into... Gerry was illegal over there.
Right.
And he couldn't...
Oh, the shock on my face.
I know, yeah. You just write that straight away, like.
You can't see this on the podcast, but I'm just like, no.
Yeah, the shock. He looks like something out of The Ring right now. His face is just on the fucking floor.
Because this guy sounds like he's meticulous with his paperwork.
Oh, you know. This could be you, actually, if you're from Cork, but he got... He was out there illegal, and he couldn't come to the airport because he was sure the FBI were looking for him.
Right, fucking SWAT teams,
the whole fucking shooting gallery. He had a fucking grand job refurbishing buildings. Fucker's on about $1,000 a fucking week cash in hand. Like.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I was making fucking massive money, the bastard. So I tried to get a cab. I know where I'm going. I meet you in the Holy Ground was the name of the pub.
Oh, okay.
Grand job.
How holy was this ground?
Not particularly, but was owned by a cute fucker from Cork, or the pubs in this street were either owned by a fucker from Cork or a fucker from Tipperary. That's the way this street was.
This is you could do this fucking story in Cork.
You actually could, yeah. It was ridiculous, like. So it's like Temple Bar, which is essentially all owned by one cute Tipperary fucker, Louis Fitzgerald. But I get into a cab, chap.
Bring me to the Holy Grounds, pal.
Holy Ground, that says Quincy. Your man looks at me. I am 2 days. 2 days in Boston. You have to give me more than this.
Well, look, I've given you the location.
Yeah.
And I've given you the name of the place.
Yeah. Now, this was 2003.
So no sat-navs.
No, and this lad did not look like he owned a sat-nav. Or he didn't sound like.
No.
He was only 2 days into the country and
What
somebody...
part of France was this guy from? Go with the accent you're after doing there.
Very fucking south of France anyway, that's for sure. But he didn't have a fucking sat-nav. Somebody'd hand him the keys to a car.
And said, drive that.
The steering wheel's on the other side, horsey. Jump into fucking drive.
Like, you know, this... Of all the jobs you could take on with doing, Tom, like a taxi driver.
Yeah, taxi driver, yeah.
Do you know? And like, if that's like giving me the keys to in Boston and saying go be a taxi driver, like I don't fucking know where I'm going.
But sure, this is the thing. They're just winging it. Like then the lad would wing it, and if somebody got out, that's a lost fare. So fucking what? Do you know in London they have to know every single street?
And I think there's something.
It's the most intense exam of all time. Like apparently.
Stop me if I'm wrong in this now. But if you get into a taxi in London, do you not agree a fare before you set off?
You can do, but there's also a meter as well.
There's some system like that, isn't there?
Actually, with here's a weird one. Still in law,
it has to be within
a certain.
You have to vaguely know how much this is going to cost you before.
Yeah. And it's a weird thing. Have you ever been in the London cab?
Yes.
They round corners and the doors keep on locking and unlocking. See that? As your man comes up, as your man touches the brake, it locks.
Does it?
As he goes back on the accelerator, she unlocks.
So you've got that window to dive out.
So you can dive out while he's putting the fucking accelerator down, like.
If you time it right.
They are the most unbelievable cabs, them things. Like, they must be just made of girders. Land Rover must fucking make them, because they hammer and they get. But they, but yeah, they still, to this day, by law, are supposed to carry a bale of hay in the boot. They never changed the law from the carriages.
Really?
Yeah, it's still there. Anyway, getting completely off fucking point.
So take me back
fucking culture fucking tell you about things about London, for fuck's sake. But I'm in with the man in the back anyway. I said, alright, look it. Fuck this backseat stuff. I sat up the front with your man. Right. Had a fucking freak out. Because he had been told by the boys back in the depot, nobody sits up the fucking front.
Bollocks. I
says, bollocks to that. Move over, Mujab.
You don't know where you're going.
No.
I can't tell you from the back.
Can't tell you from the back.
Let's do this.
I know I get up the front anyway, and we're tearing through the fucking place. We end up finding the holy ground. I had a rough idea where it was. Found it. Fair play, the doorman. They'd left me dinner on all put on for me. And it was 11:15 at night, like. They'd the dinner left in the oven for me, the whole lot inside the pub.
This is proper order.
Fucking classy stuff. I tell you, it is an enjoyable place to go because they do look after the Irish over there big time, like. They fucking love it.
Sure, who doesn't like us?
Quite a fucking few, as it turns out, yeah. I'd say Australia's fairly fucking sick of us at this stage now, like, but... That was grand. Hung around with fucking Gerry. Gerry says, "Han, we're going to Newark for a weekend." Off to Newark for a weekend anyway. This is where, like, I was trying to educate Gerry now because I'd been to New York.
Right.
And of course, as we were talking about, I knew about 3 things about fucking New York.
Yeah. You knew what we are.
The naked Usher the Naked Cowboy. As if I had him on fucking speed dial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure, all the fucking cowboys is great crack.
This is it. Usher, I knew the place. I knew the name of the fucking train station. That was it, Grand Central. It's fairly handy to remember, like. It's in the central, and 'tis grand.
I think we would have learned that one at school.
Well, we get in there anyway with the usual old things. We're going drinking and we're having the fucking crack and all the rest of it. But this is where the innocence of a man. I knew enough to be cautious of things like a rabbit would be cautious of cars on the road.
Right.
He won't run 10 miles from it. He'll just step enough away from it.
Yeah, like, oh, what's going on?
Gerry didn't. Because Boston is and the part of Boston he lived in, he hadn't gone fucking 500 yards from his fucking flat in 2 months. Like, he didn't have to because all the work was around him. The pub was just up the road, and the restaurant and the bar.
Why did you go anywhere?
And the bar and the shop that sold Denny's rashers was only around the corner, and the pub he liked was only around. So anyway, starts flogging fucking rain. We've a couple of jars on board walking on. We're doing a bit of a pub crawl.
Right.
Fucking umbrella, I think. So we'll get an umbrella. Lo and behold, there's a shop selling all sorts of that shit. Fucking magnets, new fucking.
But this is one thing I noticed about New York, where you think it's going to be really nice, is actually just full of that shit.
Shite.
You know, like if you go to Times Square, you think that's going to be like the cultural hub of the world with the most expensive property going, and 90% of it is fucking like t-shirt shops.
Did I tell you how I totally fucking goosed myself the first time I was in Times Square?
No.
I walked across and asked, you know, the police station box there in the centre. I walked over and asked the cops straight out, "Where's Times Square?"
There you go.
Why?
You wouldn't think you were in.
Why? Because it wasn't fucking square. And I said, your man started breaking his bollocks laughing. He's looking at me going, man, you just off the boat or something?
You're in it, bro.
You're in it, bro. And I'm like, well, it's not fucking square. It's a triangle, if anything.
Yeah.
It's a junction.
I'd be more inclined to say, I thought Times Square was going to be classy, and all there seems to be here is shops selling
Shite. But so we walk into the shop looking for an umbrella, and Gerry, it looks like a regular shop. It's got all sorts of normal things in it. Of fucking stupid plates with pictures of the Statue of Liberty and on it. And Gerry's gone.
Snow globes.
Snow globes.
Right.
I find an umbrella good enough. $5. Gerry, where the fuck is Gerry? Gerry?
Gerry's
walked
on
on.
the fucking side
Hey,
down here.
I'm out here. Over I go into the corner. Gerry's talking with this fella who's standing. Now we're on ground level, but there's a door with an immediate stairs up out of it.
Right.
In the back end of the shop.
Like Anne Frank's house.
Like Anne and Frank, they're very same. But I can guarantee you there's something different up this fucking stairs. Because there's a neon sign that says fucking flames or flambe or said something anyway in a neon sign. And your man is a bouncer.
And this is just the back of a shop.
At 5 o'clock in the evening. On a fucking Friday. I said to Gerry, come on, don't be bothering that man. He says, man, I want to see what's up there. Says Gerry. I says, for the love and honour of fuck. Your man says, I don't think you do, lads. I think this isn't for you. Move on there now, says your man. Normal shop. All the rest of it. Gerry's pressing. He wants to go up anyway. Your man says, I'll let you up. He says, but I can guarantee you don't want to be up there. I finally turned around and says, well, tell me what's fucking up there.
Right.
Male strip club.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a strip club.
That males should attend.
Well, males can attend, and it would seem males do attend, but more so it seems to be males of a certain persuasion, and mostly ladies that go up to this place.
Right.
It wasn't made for Gerry from Ballincollig and fucking Tom from Tipperary, I can tell you that much. And your man, God bless him, this will tell you his wiseness. He took one fucking look at our welly heads and went, ye have no more fucking reason being up here than the man in the moon, you two fucking weirdos. But Gerry, he fucking pressed on, didn't even pick up on what he said.
Right, because I was just about to say the story ends here and just turn and go around. No.
Nope.
Up he went.
Up he went, and your man he left him. He wasn't causing trouble or anything. We weren't drunk. I wasn't fucking going.
It sounds like you were a bit drunk, Tom.
We had it all, but it was only 5 o'clock in the evening. You know what I mean? We'd had a few on, but it was just more funny at
5 o'clock in the evening is late when you're drinking this time of the day.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's like the song says, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, isn't it? But up Gerry fucking shoots up the stairs. Think of something out like the most. It was like Miley meets Father Tate coming back down the fucking stairs after about. I says, how long do you give him? Your man says, I'll give him 20 seconds. I says, I'll give him 15. If what's up there, if you're telling me what's up, I says, what? I says, it's full on. He says, they're fucking He says, I'm getting well paid. He says, and I don't go up there. This is my job. I walk in the front of the door of the shop and I stand here. And I advise fucking idiots like you not to go up the stairs.
I was written at the front of this shop to
not
suggest that there was this covert
not a fucking
strip club.
Because I walked back out and looked to go, did we just walk into a place? Because you wouldn't be looking up when you saw umbrellas in a basket outside the door.
If you're in and you see an umbrella, you kind of get tunnel vision on it.
Oh, well, I just figured it was an umbrella shop. The last thing I thought was that I was going to get a fucking feast of fucking Mickey's upstairs, like. But yeah, your man, lo and me fucking hold. He came down, I'd say probably on the 19-second mark. He came down, must have been 14 or 15 steps from top to bottom. And I'd say if he hit fucking 3 of them.
He was doing well.
He was doing fucking well. He came out the fucking back like somebody had shot him out of a fucking cannon and went flying across the fucking floor. Knocked souvenirs off every fucking thing. How the fuck? Come on! I stayed there for 10 days because my flight got delayed.
What, in the shop?
No, in the fucking... No,
I was so hungry. I was drinking water out of the snow globes to survive.
Could not get enough of NYPD t-shirts. They fucking stayed in America for 10 days with Gerry because our fucking flying, and not one. I asked him every minute of every day what he saw up there that made him so scared because he sobered up. Like he was flutered. He was never one for it that was a good drinker. He was the sort of fella now that drink 2 bottles of Bud.
Right.
Do you know that kind of way?
Yes. Very like myself.
Yeah, very like you, alright. And he was cut going up that stairs, and in under 20 seconds he came down white as a fucking ghost and terrified.
He just came down and lost the accent. It scared him.
Yeah.
Lost the accent. Right. Tom, let's just let's tip on now, shall we?
Yeah, I tell you how, he's just got a monocle, like, you know, the whole,
like,
everything. The
Nothing to see
poor
here,
man.
Tom. Nothing to see at all.
The poor man, I'd love to, I haven't seen him in years. I haven't probably seen him since then. Actually, yeah, haven't actually seen him since then. That'll tell you everything about you need to know.
He could be in a hospital.
The man, I don't think he wouldn't have come home because he would have just been ashamed. But I mean, it sounded like there was a lot of fun up there.
Someone was having a good time.
There was screaming. It seemed like a happy party up there, albeit not one for me. But you know, it sounded like a good time. So somebody was having a good time with Gerry. I would have just loved, if I nearly would have sacrificed going up there to stand in the back of the room to watch him running in. And to watch the look on his face while some dude's on the pole like greasing it up, and some chick is sticking a fiver into his fucking jocks.
There could have been part of his mind that was thinking along the lines of, well, if I go up here, where's a male strip club? Okay, I've got all the information available. Alright, I know, like, I know what I'm going into here.
Yeah.
But there could be, like, hen party-esque groups of women that are just there to ogle these fellas, and when the fellas are off the stage, then I'll be the only single fella in the room.
So, like, their batteries are charged and got nothing to do with them. Is that what you're saying?
And they turn around and there's Gerry standing there. And I'd be like, let's have the crack with him.
I'll be honest with you, I think it was.
Do you think he would have been thinking that going up the
stairs?
stairs?
No, I definitely don't.
Like, I'll hammer a bit of crack out of this.
He did. No, I don't think his thought process typically wasn't like that. He got surprised by things like the rain.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, he was the sort of bloke that made airplane noises feeding himself.
Right.
Do you know? Yeah. Nice fella,
but he wouldn't, like, because that like plan would occur to me, like, you know,
if you went back down and had a thought process.
There's a load of women on there watching fucking lads swinging around poles and shit like that, like, you know, and we'll be just there to chat them up when all's said and done. Foolproof.
Essentially, like, that's the chum.
That's
the chum to the shark bait. Yeah.
And we're the bit, like, you know what I mean? Here it goes. I can see that sort of.
It wasn't. No way. He wanted to go up there because he was told he wasn't fucking allowed up there by some big bollocks of a fucking bouncer.
And that's all the time.
And all it was like him some night in Ballyvorne, scutter drunk or outside a fucking a thing in Clonakilty or something, being told by the bouncer that he had too much drink on board, and he'd still desperately want to go in to get his fucking.
I want to go in.
I just need to get in.
I want to go in.
I don't think he even thought about what was at the top of that stairs.
I don't think he cared.
It was almost like it did. I don't know if you ever saw that bit from Family Guy where it was a film. It was the alternative version of Brokeback Mountain from the horse's point of view, and the two horses are talking, and the tent is just there, kind of shaking from side to side, and the two horses are talking. It's like, hey, wait, we're like an hour late. Do you think the guys are getting up? I'm just gonna go check it out. I wouldn't. I'd leave him if I were you. I'd leave him since the other horse and the other guy sticks his head in, and 3 seconds later he's like, oh Jesus, oh Jesus, oh Jesus, oh Jesus, and that's what it was. He had just been told he couldn't go up there, and whatever he saw up there, it was. He had that look in his eyes, like your man. Do you know? Remember the black guy in Predator? That was like shaving his side of his head.
Yeah.
It's in the trees, man. It's over there.
It ain't no man.
He had that look in his eyes. Just with
only in this case, it was a man.
It definitely was a man. I don't know. Maybe he had a realization in that moment that maybe this might be a thing he dig, and he didn't know how to process that moment. Like maybe he's working there now, for all I know.
What, like when you're on your laptop and you open too many windows? And it's like plug-in not responding, and you can't shut the fucking thing down. You can't, like, just give it a minute. If you keep clicking on the X, going please.
Yeah.
So what you're saying he needed to do was just hold the off button for like 15 seconds to choke the thing off.
Exactly. Just calm himself down and just think about the moment he was in, and that he will never do it again, and laugh it off. But he was not right for a while. He wasn't right for even a couple of more pints after that. And the fact is, it made it all. It was almost I had that impulse then, because I nearly wanted to go back to see what fucking blew his mind so much.
I'm mad I don't know what the hell was up these stairs.
I
have a fair idea. Like.
No, your man wouldn't even. He was like, it's just strippers that are men. That's essentially what he.
Because, like, you know, in fairness, Tom, on the scale of things, that's like fairly vanilla. Like, you know, I can't see how that would rewire this poor Corker's brain. Like, maybe it was like gimp masks and shit like that.
The way the guy described it to me was purely... He wasn't the chattiest sort, I'll be honest with you. New York bouncers typically aren't the sort of guys who go in for house or fat or keeping.
That's not just bouncers now.
No, exactly,
oh.
Yeah. He was just... he wasn't going in for it, the big chat. He just went, it's a strip club. with dudes that strip. That was his exact opposite. But I did once I don't know if you've ever witnessed this, but I remember a sister of mine worked in a bar in Cork one time, and there was a nightclub onto the back of it, and it was only ever a nightclub, but it was about 5 o'clock in the evening, and somebody had booked it out and put these guys in there. They were a troupe of strippers. And the screams, like it was just like me and a couple of blokes were having a couple of pints in the bar, and the screams coming from where there was never screams, because at 5 o'clock in the evening, the cleaning crowd were in cleaning and restocking the bar. The sister was like, there's some strippers next door. And I could not. It was the sort of screams you hear, you know, when you see it in Sky News, and there's been a ton of poor misfortunes out in the Middle East blown to bits, and the women are screaming and banging the ground. You know, that kind of screaming.
But the ones in your sister's pub weren't screaming Allahu Akbar or anything like that, were they?
No. They weren't screaming that. They weren't screaming anything like that. But I pulled the door open a crack, and I knew one of the bouncers. Who the bouncer was actually at the time, he was Frankie Sheen, who went on to play for Ireland. Who's his brother was on the door. And he says, "Come in, look at fucking this." And I just saw this fucking mayhem, like wild, like adult women, like screaming. Not like children. They were screaming like the Walking Dead. That's what it would remind you of. And I could see this from the back, and the 5 lads were up there, you know, doing their dance or whatever, and they were clothed to a degree, but they were losing their fucking mind, like there was women knocking other women out. It was just like, and the whole night ended apparently, because I fucked off at that stage. The sister was finished in the bar, and we headed away off for a drink somewhere else, because it was going to be all out pandemonium. I would say they weren't the most refined ladies. You did not want to be around when they came out of this thing, because they needed blood essentially at this stage. They were just charged up, but apparently the night ended shortly after that. The show was cut short because a woman decided she was going to reach forward on stage and swing like an orangutan from one chap's poor tackle. He thought otherwise, and natural reaction broke her fucking jaw in 2 places. And that was the end of the night. He knocked her clean with conscience. Paramedics had to come in.
It fucking reminds me of a story there. It was in back home in Carrick, and there come a stripper into the pub one night. Yeah, were you ever in a pub where a stripper comes in?
I worked with a guy who was, well, I say I worked, I fucked around in a hotel when I was in college, laying out chairs and things like that. But one of the guys that worked in the gym, he used to cycle to work in all the gear that the wankers wear nowadays. But this is 2000, this is 2000, 2001, when nobody wore that shit.
Right, so he was stood out like
he was a gimp from the get-go. So when he said that he stripped, it made perfect sense. Yeah, he had bleach white hair because he was foxy.
Fuck him.
And he used to dye his eyebrows white and stuff. He was just a fucking weirdo anyway. Like, so that was as close to ever.
I witnessed it twice. Now, one was a fella landed in for a lady's birthday, but he was bollocks. He was like a nerd. You know what I mean? He was like a joke stripper.
Okay,
he was really skinny, and he was dressed up as a cow.
Yeah.
So you can see what we're fucking driving at here now. You know what I mean? This ain't the fucking Chippendales, alright? Now, like, you know, it's one thing to be a male stripper, to be a joke male stripper.
This is not Channing Tatum in the early years.
No, he had like a learner plate around him. I was like, I felt sorry for him. I felt genuinely bad for the guy, right? And the other one was a lady stripper that landed in for some lad's birthday in a pub. And now, she didn't strip, number one. That was it. She
Alright.
Right? She came in dressed as a guard.
Right.
But the ruse of her being a guard did not last long. Like, nobody fucking said, oh shit, the guards are in, you know.
Okay, yeah.
It was just, because everyone fucking knew, there's your man stripper, you know what I mean?
Yeah, with a giant hat and fucking, yeah.
So, off comes the jack and she's wearing her bra.
Right.
That's as far as it went.
Yeah.
But she stripped him.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, right.
He had to take his jumper off, right? He had to take his fucking fire trap shirt off, right?
Fire trap. We all had a fire trap at some stage.
Right? Because this was the thing in America. It's like, as America is like, yo man, it's your birthday. We're gonna take you to a titty bar.
A titty bar.
We're gonna get some titties in your face, man. We're gonna buy you a private dance, man. You know, we're gonna get you some titties in your face, right? But in Ireland, it's like, hey, it's your birthday. We're gonna get a stripper to come around to the pub and make a fucking show of you.
Yeah, to talk you off. Yeah.
Right. So she took his. She had the whole thing like. It was like old hat to her.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
No matter what he had, when he took off his top, she was like, Jesus, look at the fucking state of you. Like she was a job. I really feel I should point that out. Jesus, look at the fucking state of you and all this kind of crack. So she's making a show out of the poor gas, and then she has him down on his knees and she's reading him out some fucking dirty limerick or something like that, right? And the fella beside me, who's a pal of mine, was looking down at your man's back, and he turned to me and said, I'd love to give that cunt a red hand right now.
Would you have to imagine?
And I just thought, that is so fucking carrot that you've got a stripper here. Not a very good one. But all you want to do is just fucking leave a hand imprint with a massive slap on your man's back.
That's how unnice we are as a fucking nation. Like, you just set it up. Like, Americans will treat their friend. Like, you know what I mean?
He was going to go for it.
But yeah, he was going to fucking clatter the fucking back of the poor fucker.
Yeah, just for the...
That's amazing.
I would have been brilliant.
I mean, you talk about tough gigs though. I mean, imagine being a fucking stripper. Jesus Christ.
I can't. Sometimes I think Tom became more dignified at times.
Probably.
You just fucking know. You remember your man I was telling you about
there might be somebody in the room interested at least. Like.
You know your man I was telling you about there, the joke stripper that came in dressed as a cow, like a skinny fucking like the joke. The joke Mr. Muscle guy, you know, with the weedy looking fella.
Yeah.
He's probably there right now on a joke stripper podcast going, fucking hate to be a comedian.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah,
Them whores. I seen a lad in a bar and he did it.
What's it worth to him, I wonder? You know what I mean? What's it cost for him? What was he getting out of it, like fucking money wise, like I wonder? 200 quid?
It'd want to be, wouldn't it?
Like, he's not a local lad.
No.
Was he up from Dublin as well?
Couldn't tell you.
Jesus. Anybody who's ever had any involvement in the male stripping world, if that guy is listening, actually, tweet us. Yeah.
What's your worth, pal?
We just want to know what was your dignity worth?
Have you ever given anyone a red hand during a performance? And look, some people might not be listening to this not knowing what a red hand is. You've had a red hand in your time,
you know it. You know it, like playing any sports, PE or anything. It's either a towel snap or a red hand.
A red hand is basically a very hard slap on your bare chest or back, and it leaves the imprint of
a red hand.
A red hand.
It's kind of an Ulster thing, though. That's
it
makes perfect sense. That it is
sense that we red hand each other up the time. It's like fucking Brandon. It's our mark.
Yeah, it's an easier thing than a fucking crown and some other fucking yoke that we have anyway. So yeah, it is. But I suppose we should really stick a fork in it somewhat, Gerry.
That's it. Yeah.
It's been emotional 6 weeks.
It's been an emotional 6 weeks. And it's been an emotional hour here filled with ham.
Ham. Sweet Jesus. We've eaten so much fucking ham.
We'd like to thank everybody for listening to Series 1 of the Tom and Gerry Show.
Thank you very much. You never
know, Series 2 might find its way down the pipeline.
If more than maybe our mother, really. That's what it's going to count on, is that if more than our mother and our siblings perhaps listen to this.
Yeah,
and,
our barometer for success is surprisingly low. So you'd be amazed at what we're counting as a success with this thing.
Yeah, you know it. Like I mean, some lads are just unhappy if they're not making money at under 1 million views on YouTube. We'll
take that.
You know what? Yeah, we're easy on that. So yeah, we won't put a figure on it, but if it gets past a certain point, we'll definitely do a series 2.
And that figure is surprisingly low.
Yeah, trust me. Just share it the once. It will probably do it. Yeah.
So for everybody that followed us on Twitter, at Tom and Gerry Show, and indeed you can follow me at Gerry McBride and Tom.
I'm Tom _O'Mahony.
You can't always get away with the underscore. So somebody's got to go for like sloppy seconds with the underscore.
Oh, well, I'll take it. I'm not putting Tom O'Mahony 1 on the fucking thing.
Tom O'Mahony 69XX.
That's my stripper fucking handle.
I feel I might have made that joke like 6 times over these podcasts.
We've tried ones like about. You see, you're just gloating because you got the Twitter handle.
Skidded in underneath the door there, pal.
Yeah, it was pretty tasty.
I think we've had good times.
Yeah, it has been a good one.
Definitely got some shit gigs out of our systems.
More than anything, it's been therapy.
It's been.
I think we can both admit that. Anybody listening to it will know that it's been therapeutic to talk about the fucking shock at fucking gigs and all the rest of it. And
all the shit we hate.
Yeah, pretty much bitching.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of bitching.
We can't promise you that a series 2 will be any more upbeat than this.
No, oh god, no. It's
What
probably.
would you want it to be?
No, you wouldn't. We're Irish for fuck's sake. You're like Jesus Christ. Who wants to be all fucking patting each other on the back and all the rest of it?
Except when you're giving someone a red hand.
Your man Bill Burr, he said it was fantastic. I remember listening to him one time. He was talking about his gig in Vicar Street, and he said he'd done it in 26 different countries. The same show, same fucking joke. Everybody was on board with him. There was a minuscule fucking heartfelt moment in it when he's talking about hugging kids too much will make him fucking soft and all the rest of it. And he said there's this one minuscule of a heartfelt, because he's not a very heartfelt comedian, and he had this one bit where he said in every other country people kind of just sat there, listened and appreciated that it was heartfelt, that his mother never hugged him. And he says in the fucking this time from the word I said never hugged me, the entire Vicar Street went oh. And he went and he says like 5 minutes later he was wrapping up the show, and he gave away free CDs to everybody of his little previous show, and everybody got a free CD, and he actually announced from the stage, I'm giving you all a free CD, take it away with you, there'll be ushers at the door giving you away free CDs. And one guy 5 rows back went, fuck off. And he said that's why I fucking love Ireland, because there isn't a fucking, you don't get the crack of the door isn't even open when somebody's gone, shut up the fuck.
Yeah,
stop being such a fucking pussy.
Fuck's sake.
Shut up, you stupid bitch.
You
know what I mean? So that's he appreciated, because he's from fucking New England, kind of where there's a lot of Irish and stuff. Where we're just cynical fucks.
We're beaten down.
Yeah, and we take pride in that.
We haven't had it easy.
No, we fucking haven't.
And that's the way we like it.
Albeit the ham has been very good this evening.
I will say now the ham has been exceptional.
Yeah.
Where are we on ham sandwiches now, Tom? Polish off the rest of this ham?
You know it. Well, if I'm on my chia bread, for sure, we're all over that. Like, you know, I hope you don't mind there's no butter.
No, well, I need something to give out.
Well, you can have your chipotle fucking sauce.
I need something
there
to give out about on Series 2.
I know you will.
Series 2 giving out yards. What's the deal with Tom not having... I don't want to fucking bring up Tom not having butter. Alright, that's that done. Okay, thanks a million for listening again. I've been Gerry McBride.
I've been Tom Mahony.
You've been listening to the Tom and Gerry Show.
Catch you later, guys.
See that.
Later, guys.
See that.
Later, guys.
See that.
Later, guys.
See that.